ಏಣೂಹಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. ಏಣೂಹಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. ಕನಸು ಕಂಡೇನೆ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳವಳಗೊಂಡೇನೆ. ಏಣೂಹಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. பொன்னாட கடகனிட்டு திம்மையாತ பொலவு நாமவிட்டு. பொன்னாட கடகನಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯಾತ ಪೊಲವ ನಾಮಯಿಟ್ಟು. ಅಂದುಗೆ ಗಲಗನಿಟ್ಟು ಎನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂದದಲ್ಲೇ. ಅಂದುಗೆ ಕಲಗನಿಟ್ಟು ಏನು ಮುಂದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಂದು ನಿನ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲೇ ತಂಗೆ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು. ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗೆ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. ಮಕರ ಕುಂಡಲವಿನಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯಾತ ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ತೆಲಗನಿಟ್ಟು. ಮಕರ ಕುಂಡಲವನ್ನಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯಾತ ಕಸ್ತೂರಿ ತೆಲಗನಿಟ್ಟು. ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಕಾಲುಗನಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂದಿದನಲ್ಲೇ. ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಗಾಲುಗನಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂದಿದನಲ್ಲೇ. ಏನು ಹಲಲಿ ದಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಪಲ್ಲಕ್ಕು ಎದಿಗಲು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಿಂದದರಲ್ಲೇ. ಮುತ್ತಿನ ಪಲ್ಲಕ್ಕಿ ಎದುಗಲು ಕೊತ್ತಿ ನಿಂದಿದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಛತ್ರ ಚಮರೆಯಿಂದ ರಂಗಯ್ಯನ ಉತ್ಸವ ಮೂರ್ತಿಯೇ. ಛತ್ರ ಸಮರದಿಂದ ರಂಗಯ್ಯನ ಉತ್ಸವ ಮೂರ್ತಿಯೇ. ಏನು ಹಲಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪದವನು ಕಂಡೆ. ಕನಗಸು ಕಂಡೇನೆ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳುವಳಗೊಂಡೇನೆ. ಕನಸು ಕಂಡೇನೆ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳುವಳಗೊಂಡೇನೆ. ತಾಮರ ಕಮಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣಯ್ಯ ಬಂದು ನಿಂಡಿದನಲ್ಲಿ. ತಾಮರ ಕಮಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೃಷ್ಣಯ್ಯ ಬಂದು ನಿಂದಿದನಲ್ಲಿ. ವಾಯು ಬೊಮ್ಮಡಿಗಳು ರಂಗಯ್ಯನು ಸೇವೆಯ ಮಾಡುವರೆ. ವಾಯು ಬೊಮ್ಮಡಿಗಳು ರಂಗಯ್ಯನ ಸೇವೆಯ ಮಾಡುವರೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಡುವನ ಕಂಡೆ. ಏನು ಹೇಳಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಡುವನ ಕಂಡೆ. ನವರತ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸಿಡ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಎನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂಡಪದಲ್ಲಿ. ನವರತ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಸಿಡ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಎನ್ನ ಹೃದಯ ಮಂಡಪದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸರ್ವ ಪರಣದಿಂದ ಪುರಂದ ವಿಠಲನ ಕೂಡಿಡೆನೆ. ಸರ್ವ ಪರದಿಂದ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಕೂಡಿನೆನೆ. ಏನು ಹಲಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗಿ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾಡವನ ಕಂಡೆ. ಏನು ಹಲಲಲ್ಲಿ ತಂಗೆ ತಿಮ್ಮಯ್ಯನ ಪಾಡುವನ ಕಂಡೆ. ಕನಸು ಕಂಡೇನೆ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳುವಳಗೊಂಡೇನೆ. ಕನಸು ಕಂಡೇನೆ ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳುವಳಗೊಂಡೇನೆ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್. The song Yena Kalalali Tangi Timmayana is a Dasara Pada, a devotional song in Kannada composed by the revered saint composer Purandara Dasaru. The lyrics describe a devotee's profound, personal and ecstatic vision or dream of Lord Timmaya, a name of Lord Venkateswara or Krishna, and her attempt to express his overwhelming experience to her friend or Tangi, younger sister. The general meaning focuses on the ineffable nature of divine experience. Key themes: ineffable devotion, The speaker struggles to find words inadequate to describe the beauty and majesty of the Lord she saw in her dream or vision, indicating that the spiritual experience goes beyond normal human language. Divine beauty. The lyrics detail various aspects of the Lord's appearances, such as his ornaments, golden bangles, shark-shaped earrings, and the kasturi mark on his forehead, which appeared before her. Ecstatic vision. The song conveys the intense emotional state of the devotee who is completely captivated and immersed in the vision of the divine, finding immense joy and spiritual fulfillment. The song is a beautiful expression of Madhura Bhakti, where the devotee relates to the divine as beloved, sharing the joy of union with others. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Prabhuji, so nice. Every time you bring some new kirtan for us, and it is so wonderful for all of us to listen and witness. So, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Bol to you. So, we will start with our Mangalacharan and then we will start with our class. So, Sharmila Mataji, you can sing the Mangalacharan, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Bol Mataji, very nice. Thank you so much for singing the Mangalacharan so beautifully. So we will begin our class today. So I hope all of you listen to the recording or revise the pages. So just a quick recap on what we covered in our last class on Friday. Anyone would like to quickly summarize what were some of the points we read? Hare Krishna. Anyone?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
One night while Swamiji was lecturing to a full house, a fat girl who had been sitting on the window seat suddenly stood up and began hollering at him. Are you just going to sit here? She yelled. What are you going to do now? Come on. Aren't you going to say something? Why are you going to do? What are you going to do? Who are you? Her action was so sudden and her speech was so violent that no one in the temple responded.
Right.
Unlimited Swamiji sat very quietly. He appeared at only the devotees sitting closest to him heard him say softly, as if to himself, "It is the darkest of darkness."
Very true. Thanks, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing. Summarize in a, I have to summarize it in one line. Whatever we read last Friday was about some of the real time challenges which Srila Prabhupada faced every single day. So every single day, some or the other person would walk in with some set of challenges, and some of them would, reach out to Srila Prabhupada as a resort. So, like, we started by reading that there was one person who was chased by the policeman, and then he knocked the door and he said, oh Krishna, please save me." And that's what we read. And he, as a rescue mode, he surrendered to Srila Prabhupada. And then there was the other set of people, someone who was looking very, what is the name of the person whom some of the devotees also refrained from seeing him from Srila Prabhupada? Anyone remembers?
Rabbit.
Rabbit.
Rabbit. Yeah, nice. Haribol. So he's looking very ugly, filthy, and all of that. So they didn't want him to reach Srila Prabhupada. But what exactly happened then? Did he manage to meet Srila Prabhupada?
The devotees, they were preventing him from meeting. But when he
Yeah.
met Swamiji soon after the lecture,
Hmm.
he compassionately agreed to meet. And yeah.
Yes, he asked, "Can I come and meet you?" And he agreed. So, like this, one more devotee came in, like one more person, Israel, also like Rabbit, he came in. So, all these people used to come and then, ask questions. And like Srila Prabhupada, one of the women raised that question. And one more woman came in and created a scene during the Kirtan. Anyone remembers what exactly happened?
She wore a dancer, no? She was wearing a mini skirt,
Yeah.
and and the devotees wanted Prabhupada to intervene, but
Hmm.
he said, okay, let her use her energy for Krishna. But once he
Yes.
came down and he saw her dancing, like her behavior, he disapproved of that. And I think a woman devotee goes to her and tells her all that, and she comes wearing a slack and she dances nicely after that. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Harivasi. That's the magic of Krishna. Thank you so much, Sharmila Mataji, for sharing it. Such a wonderful instance. But again, just if we imagine from the state of Srila Prabhupada, how much he had to witness and go through every single day, right? Going to a foreign land, first of all, sacrificing all that comforts he had here, knowing no one there, and there established doing everything just for Krishna. And on top of it, there are people who used to come, raise questions, get into argument mode with Srila Prabhupada. And then again, he had to make them understand all of it. And on top of it, he had to tolerate some of these things also. But I think that is what pure devotion and complete surrender to Krishna actually means. He has demonstrated that to all of us in real time. So that's the biggest message I took away from the last class. Anything else anyone would like to share from what we read? Hare Krishna. Anything else you remember which you would like to share? Any other instance?
One more mustached man, he
Yeah.
asked if Swamiji was Allen Ginsberg's guru. So Swamiji replies, I'm nobody's guru, I'm everybody's servant. I think this
Servant.
statement impressed all the devotees. Yeah.
Very nice. Very well. Thanks, Sharmila Mataji. That's a beautiful one. Thank you for sharing. Very nice. Even I liked it a lot. All right. And couple of other things which is there is about what Haridasa says about Srila Prabhupada. Is such a beautiful message, probably. Anyone would like to add anything? Okay, let me share my screen meanwhile. So we read till here in the last class. This was a beautiful message from Haridasa. Let's do a quick recap. Here. See here, Haridasa says, I used to watch how Swamiji would handle things. It wasn't easy. To me, that was a real test of his powers and understanding. How to antagonize or stir them up to create more trouble. He would turn their energy so that before they knew it, they were calm, like when you pat a baby and stops crying. Swamiji had a way of doing that with words, with the intonation of his voice, with his patience to let them carry on for a certain period of time, let them work it out, act it out even. I guess he realized that the devotees just couldn't say, listen, when you come to the temple, you can't behave this way. It was a delicate situation. Often someone would say, I am God. They would get an insight or hallucination from their drugs. They would try to steal the spotlight. They wanted to be heard. And you could feel an anger against the Swami from people like that. Sometimes they would speak inspired and poetic for a while, but they couldn't sustain it, and their speech would become gibberish. And the Swami was not one to simply pacify people. He wasn't going to coddle them. He would say, what do you mean? If you are God, then you have to be all knowing. You have to have the attributes of God. Are you omniscient or an omnipotent? He would then name all the characteristics that one would have to be an avatara to be God. He would rationally prove the person wrong. He had superior knowledge and he would rationally explain to them, if you are God, can you do this? Do you have this power? Sometimes people would take it as a challenge and would try to have a verbal battle with the Swami. The audience attention would then swing to the disturbing individual, the person who was grabbing the spotlight. Sometimes it was very difficult. I used to sit there and wonder, how is he going to handle this guy? This one is really a problem. But Swamiji was hard to defeat. See this, how beautiful. Even if he couldn't convince the person, he convinced the other people in the crowd so that the energy of the room would change and would tend to quiet the person. Swamiji would win the audience by showing them that this person didn't know what he was talking about. And the person would feel the vibrations of the room change, that the audience was no longer listening or believing his spiel, and so the person would shut up. So Swamiji would remove the audience rather than the person. He would do it without crushing the person. He would do it by superior intelligence, but also with a lot of compassion. When I saw him do these things, then I realized he was a great teacher and a great human being. He had this sensitivity not to injure a person physically or emotionally, so that when the person sat down and shut up, he wouldn't be doing it in defeat or anger. He wouldn't be hurt. He would just be outwitted by the Swami. How beautiful, no? This is. I love these uh, stanzas when I read, and I really wanted to share with all of you. It is such a beautiful message. It summarized it so beautifully. Like he had witnessed it in person, and he had, Haridasa had narrated it so beautifully for all of us to know. Such a beautiful one. These were some of the other wonderful times they had with Srila Prabhupada during their walking time, during their when they went to with Srila Prabhupada to different places, how he would spend time during walking, during kirtan. You know how Srila Prabhupada would uh, share a lot of instances with humor and describe things. So these are some of the very beautiful instances which were narrated, and they also we read about Tompkins Square Park, right? The chanting at the New York's Tompkins Square Park. Kirtanas were going on full swing every Sunday. A lot of people used to come in, and one Sunday there was a devotee who came in suddenly, and you know, And Srila Prabhupada started to play mridanga. He started to lead the singing in a loud voice. So all these beautiful instances. He also says Swamiji was the center of attraction. Even his age and dress made him prominent. Whereas others in the park were mostly young people dressed in denims or various hippie costumes, Swamiji was 70 and distinctly dressed in saffron robes. And the way the devotees had all cheered and bowed before him were now looking at him so lovingly caused onlookers to regard him with curiosity and respect. And as soon as he sat down, some young children gathered close to him. It smiled at them, playing the mridanga, enthralling and entertaining them with his playing. And see, Govinda Dasi also beautifully describes with Swamiji's arrival, there was a mastery and an authority about the whole Kirtana that was absent before. We were no longer kids in San Francisco chanting Hare Krishna. Now we had historical depth and meaning. So from New York, in San Francisco, also Srila Prabhupada had built an empire. And she's saying now the Kirtana had credentials. Look at the mercy of Krishna. And his presence established the ancient historical quality of the chanting. When Swamiji came, the whole disciplic succession came. And after an hour of chanting, Swamiji stopped the Kirtana, addressed the crowd saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the sound vibration, and it is to be understood that the sound vibration is transcendental. And because it is transcendental vibration, therefore it appeals to everyone even without understanding the language of the sound. This is the beauty. Even children respond to it. And after speaking 5 minutes, Swamiji began the Kirtana again. Some of the young people joined hands, forming a circle, and began to dance around Naran in front of Swamiji. Then they encircled him and danced around him hand in hand. So it became like a beautiful Kirtan to witness. And as he surveyed the activities in the meadow, Swamiji seemed deeply pleased to see the ring of dancers singing all around him, chanting Hare Krishna. Although the enthusiasm of these hippies was often wild and sensual, the gathering assumed a wholesome sweetness due to the chanting of Hare Krishna. And for Swamiji, the main thing was that the chanting was going on and on. And dressed in a saffron cloth that seemed to change colors subtly in the fading afternoon sunlight, he watched in a kindly, fatherly way, not imposing any restraint, but simply inviting everyone to chant Hare Krishna. How beautiful, no? This is so wonderful. So, till this, we read in the last class. So, we will continue from here today. So, who would like to read? Please raise your hands and I can allow you to start reading. Okay, Hare Krishna. I see Muthumanikam Prabhuji's hand raised. Yes, Prabhuji. Go ahead, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One day, Malati hurried into Swamiji's apartment, took a small item out of her shopping bag, and placed it on Swamiji's desk for his inspection. What is this, Swamiji? Bhaktivedanta Swami looked down and beheld a 3-inch wooden doll with a flat head, a black smiling face, and a big round eyes. The figure had stubby, forward jutting arms and simple green and yellow torso with no visible feet. Immediately, Swamiji folded his palms and bowed his head, offering the little figure respect. You have brought the Lord Jagannatha, the Lord of the universe, he said, smiling and bright eyed. Yes, Krishna, thank you very much. Swamiji beamed with pleasure, while Malati and others sat amazed at their good fortune of seeing Swamiji so pleased. Swamiji explained that this was Lord Jagannatha, a deity of Krishna worshipped all over India for thousands of years. Jagannatha, he said, is worshipped along with two other deities, his brother Balarama and his sister Subhadra. Excitedly, Malati confirmed that there were other similar figures at cost plus. The import store where she had found for the little Jagannatha and Swamiji said she would go back and buy them. Malati told her husband Shyamsundara, and together they hurried back and brought the two other dolls in the set. Bhaktivedanta Swami placed the black-faced smiling Jagannatha on the right. In the center he placed the smallest figure, Subhadra, who had a red smiling mouth and a rectangular black and yellow torso. The third figure, Balarama, with a white round head, red rimmed eyes, and a happy red smile, had the forward jutting arms like Jagannatha and a blue and yellow base. Swamiji placed him next to Subhadra. As Swamiji looked at them together on his desk, he asked if anyone knew how to carve. Shyamsundara said he was a wood sculptor, and a Swamiji asked him to carve 3 foot high copies of the little Jagannatha, Balarama, and Subhadra. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Very nice. See, Lord Jagannatha had come to Sri Srila Prabhupada. So beautiful. So, Sharmila Mataji can continue. Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. More than 2000 years ago, Bhaktivedanta Swami told them there was a king named Indradyumna, a devotee of Lord Krishna. Maharaja Indradyumna wanted a statue of the Lord as he had appeared when he and his brother and sister had travelled on chariots to the holy field of Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse. When the king requested a famous artist from the heavenly planets, Vishwakarma, to sculpt the forms, Vishwakarma agreed on the condition that no one interrupt his work. The king waited for a long time while Vishwakarma worked behind locked doors. One day, however, the king felt he could wait no longer and he broke in to see the work in progress. Vishwakarma, true to his word, vanished, leaving behind the uncompleted forms of the three deities. The king was nevertheless so pleased with the wonderful forms of Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra that he decided to worship them as they were. He installed them in a temple and began worshipping them with great opulence. Since that time, Bhaktivedanta Swami continued, Lord Jagannatha has been worshipped all over India, especially in the province of Orissa, where there is a great temple of Lord Jagannatha at Puri. Each year at Puri, during the gigantic Rath Yatra festival, millions of pilgrims from all over India come to worship Lord Jagannatha, Balarama, and Subhadra. As the deities ride in procession on the three huge carts, Lord Chaitanya, who spent the last 18 years of his life at Jagannatha Puri, used to dance and chant in ecstasy before the deity of the Lord Jagannatha during the yearly Rath Yatra festival. Seeing his appearance of Lord Jagannatha in San Francisco as the will of Krishna, Swamiji said that they should be careful to receive and worship Lord Jagannatha properly. If Shyamasundara could carve the forms, Swamiji said he would personally install them in the temple, and the devotees could then begin worshipping the deity. San Francisco, he said, could be renamed New Jagannatha Puri. He chanted Jagannatha Swami Nayanapata Gami Bhavatu Me. This is a mantra for Lord Jagannatha. He said, Jagannatha means Lord of the universe. O Lord of the universe, kindly be visible unto me. It is very auspicious that he has chosen to appear here. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. So very beautiful. Pushpa Mataji, you can continue, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Shyam Sundara brought 3 large blocks of hardwood and Swamiji made a sketch and pointed out a number of details. Using the small statues, Shyam Sundara calculated ratios and new dimensions and began carving on the balcony of his apartment. Meanwhile, the devotee brought the rest of the tiny Jagannath from Coast Plus, and it became a fashion to glue a little Jagannath to a simple necklace and wear him around the neck. Because Lord Jagannath was very liberal and merciful to the most fallen, Swamiji explained. The devotees would soon be able to worship him in their temple. The worship of the forms of Radha and Krishna in the temple required very high, strict standard, which the devotees were not yet able to meet. But Lord Jagannath was so merciful that he could be worshipped in a simple way, mostly by chanting Hare Krishna. Even if the devotees weren't very advanced, gradually as they progress in spiritual life, Swamiji would introduce to them more and more of the detailed practice of deity worship, along with the deep theological understanding that supported. The evening of the installation, devotees and hippies guests filled the room to capacity. Swamiji was present, and the mood was reverential and festive. It was a great special event. The just finished deities sat on the altar, and everyone was dancing at them as they stood on their redwood shelf beneath a yellow canopy. Their feature illuminated by spotlight. The devotees wore no clothes or ornament, but were freshly
Mataji, it's
painted in.
deities, not
Oh,
devotees. The deities.
sorry, Mataji. The deities wore no clothes or ornament, but were freshly painted on a bright black, red, white, green, yellow, and blue. They were smiling. Swamiji was also glancing at them, looking up to their high altar. Then Swamiji began the deity installation. Everything necessary for spiritual life was there: the temple, the devotee, the hooks, the deity, prasadam. He wanted the young people to take advantage of it. Why should they remain living like animals and thinking of spiritual life as a voyage groping for something? They should take advantage of Krishna's mercy and be successful and happy. And for this, Swamiji was their uh, tireless servant. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Very nice. Thank you, Pushpa Mataji. Haribol. Manaja Mataji, you can continue, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranama. Swamiji. So, Hayagriva, come here. Swamiji had the devotees arrange for a large candle on a plate. The ceremony he had planned would be a simple one with devotees and guests, one after another, coming up and offering the flame in circles before the Jagannatha deities. These should be lighted up, Swamiji said. And when there is Kirtana, one must be doing like this before the deity. Swamiji moved his hand around in a circle before the deity. You see, Agriva. Yes, Swamiji. Yes, with the Kirtana. And then when one person is tired, he should hand it over to another person, devotee. When he is tired, he should give it to another, as long as the kirtan will go on. This should be done with the kirtana just now. Do you follow? Yes, you begin, and when you are tired, you hand over to another. It will go on like that. Swamiji from his seat guided Hayagriva in approaching the deity with the lit candle. Some of the girls tittered with nervous expectation before the deity, and Swamiji said, "All right, now better begin Kirtana." Swamiji began playing karatals, karatalas and singing the Hare Krishna mantra to the popular melody he introduced in America. Just in front, he called out, gesturing to Hayagriva to stand more directly before the deities. Devotees and guests began rising to their feet and dancing, arms raised, bodies swaying rhythmically back and forth as they faced the bright personal forms of the deities and chanted. Colored lights within the canopy began flashing intermittently, blue, red, and yellow, highlighting the extraordinary eyes of the Lord Jagannatha, Subhadra, and Balarama. Mukunda, who had arranged the lights, smiled and looked to Swamiji, hoping for approval. Swamiji nodded and continued forcefully singing Hare Krishna. The young hippies were enthusiastic in singing and dancing, knowing that the kirtanas usually lasted an hour. Some had grasped the Swami's words when he had spoken of fixing the mind on the personal form of the Supreme Lord. And they understood when he had looked up at the deities and said, "Here is Krishna." Others hadn't followed, but thought that it was a great and blissful to sing Hare Krishna and look at the grinning big-eyed deities up on the altar amid the flowers and billowing incenses. Bhaktivedanta Swami watched with pleasure as one person after another took a turn at offering the candle before Lord Jagannatha. This was a simple procedure for installing a deity. Although in big temples in India, the installation of the deity was a complex, exact procedure requiring several days of continuous rituals directed by highly paid priests. In San Francisco, there was no Brahmana priest to pay, and the many other standards would be impossible to maintain. Thank you, Mataji.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol Mataji. Thank you so much. Tanvat pranams. Okay, who else would like to read Hare Krishna? Ekambar Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. For non-Hindus, to handle Lord Jagannatha and conduct his worship would be considered fair share by the class conscious Brahmanas of India. Except for Swamiji, none of the persons present would have been allowed even to enter the temple at Jagannath Puri. The white man, the westerner, was not allowed to see Lord Jagannatha except once a year as he rode in his cart during the Rath Yatra festival. But these restrictions were social customs, not spiritual injunctions. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Bhaktivedanta Siddhanta Saraswati had deity worship and initiation for everyone, regardless of caste, race, nationality, and Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's father, had longed for the day when the people of the West could mingle with their Indian brothers and chant Hare Krishna. Bhaktivedanta Swami had come to the West to fulfill the desires of and the vision of his spiritual master and of Bhaktivinoda Thakura by creating Vaishnavas among the Westerners. Now, if the Westerners were to become actual devotees, they would have to given the deity worship. Otherwise, it would be more difficult for them to become purified. Bhaktivinoda Vedanta Swami was confident in his spiritual master's direction and in the scriptures. He had faith that Lord Jagannatha was especially merciful to the fallen. He prayed that the Lord of the universe would not be offended by his reception at New Jagannath Puri. When the Kirtana ended, Swamiji asked Haridasa to bring him the candles. Swamiji passed his hands across the flame and touched them to his forehead. Yes, he said, show everyone, each and everyone, whatever they can contribute. Here, take it like this and show everyone. He indicated that Haridasa should present the candle before each person in the room so that all present could touch their hands to the flame as he had shown and then touch their forehead. As Haridasa went from person to person, a few devotees dropped some coins on the plate and others followed. Swamiji explained further.
Nice,
The Bhagavatam.
Haribol Prabhuji. Tanvat pranams. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we will just read one last page and then we will conclude our class. Okay, Lakshmi Mataji, I see your hand raised. Yes, Mataji, you can read Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Swamiji explained further. The Bhagavatam has recommended hearing, chanting, thinking, and worshipping. This process, which we just now introduced on the advent of Jagannath Swami, means that now this temple is now completely fixed. So this is the worshipping process. This is called Arti. So at the end of the Kirtana, this Arti will go on. And the worshipping process is to take the heat of the light and whatever your condition is, pay something for the worship. So this simple process, if you follow, you just see how you realize the absolute truth. Another thing I request you, all the devotees, when you come to the temple, you bring one fruit and one flower. If you can bring more fruit, more flower, it is very good. If not, it is not very expensive to bring one fruit and one flower and offer it to the deity. So I will request you, when you come to the temple, you bring this. Whatever fruit it may be, it does not mean that you have to bring very costly fruit. Any fruit, whatever you can afford, one fruit and one flower. He paused, looking around the room. Yes, now you can distribute prasadam. The guests sat in rows on the floor and the devotees began serving prasadam, offering the first plate to Swamiji. The food preparations were those Swamiji had personally taught the devotees in his kitchen: samosas, halwa, puris, rice, several cooked vegetables, fruit chutney, sweets, all the Sunday specials. The guests loved the prasadam and ate as much as they could get, while the devotees, especially the expert women, served more and more prasadam. The guests relaxed and enjoyed an evening of feasting and convivial conversation. After Swamiji had tasted all the preparations, he looked up with raised eyebrows. Very nice preparations. All glories to the cookers. Lord Jagannatha's presence quickly beautified the temple. Devotees made garlands for him daily. Jadurani's paintings of Lord Vishnu arrived from New York, and Govinda Dasi had painted a large portrait of Swamiji, which now hung beside his seat. Devotees also put Indian prints of Krishna on the walls. The lights flashing upon Lord Jagannatha made his eyes seem to pulsate and his colors move and jump, and he became a special attraction in the psychedelic neighborhood of Haight Ashbury. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderful, very nice. Such a beautiful thing, no? We read today. Lord Jagannatha had occupied a seat in San Francisco, and Puri temple had come in San Francisco. So, has anyone been to the West and witnessed any of these temples? Any of you have seen these temples abroad? I've not been. No, okay. Okay, I was just curious to know if any of you had seen. Very nice. So even this triggered a lot of curiosity for me to at least once in a lifetime go and visit all these places where Srila Prabhupada had built such wonderful temples, right? When we read it, kind of inspires so much. Very nice. All right, so we will continue with this tomorrow. And please join by 8:55 p.m. IST so that we can start one round of chanting Mahamantra, and then we will continue our class. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavandi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Krishna. Thank you,
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna
Mataji. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.